So really quickly, lessons learned. So thanks for staying this far, seeing how we manage projects. Here's this demo. This is a lot of new. You see a bunch of reports now that have just been launched in the last few months, and we're just getting to know them. But this is a very powerful module here. So keep your mind open as I show some of these things here. It's still not the perfect demo, but what we're all about here is we're about keeping knowledge, keeping know-how in the company. This is the famous forgetting curve. I think most people will agree if they learn something and they don't immediately repeat it, they don't immediately do some hands-on work, more time that passes by, the more likely they are to forget it. So this graph to me looks very realistic to at least the way I remember things. I'm a type of person that needs to continue to repeat things and work hands-on. So basically, the study continues to take forward that if you repeat things, your level of knowledge retention will stay higher than if you don't repeat things. So our goal is to have all of your know-how on your dashboard so that you can jump in and out of the teams, in and out of activities, in the moments where it's important, and then use free time to go back and backtrack, see things, see comments, and actually capture lessons learned. So in this case here, this is how I'm currently capturing lessons learned. But if you become a user, you're going to see this flexibility to the way you customize the tags that you're going to use and the lesson learned framework. So the way I see lesson learned capture, you're observing, you're identifying root causes to problems, and you're capturing lessons learned. So how does that look during the cycle of change? So there's your PDCA cycle, and you can see throughout your cycle, you should constantly be observing. You should be observing what's going on and capturing observations that are going to add value to not just you, but people in the future that need to try to build off of what you've brought to a certain level. So you're capturing observations. You're also as you're making observations, there's going to be unexpected issues, unexpected slowdowns, and when that happens, it's your responsibility to be in a position to try to identify why that happened, so that you can go back later and try to eliminate the root cause. And that's why you're in that root cause analysis. And once you get through that, if you're lucky enough to get through that, and you're not forced to just stay in firefighting mode, you're now in a position to capture lessons learned and make them available so that other people in the future won't make the same mistakes that you made with your colleagues. So first thing you're doing, your observations. So here in Presto, where we have a series of tags. Now this is completely customizable. These are the tags that I use. So when you're making observations, you're tagging things that you like, you're tagging things that you don't like, you're tagging key concepts, you're tagging vocabulary terms. How many times do you work on a project, especially if it's in multiple languages, and you're like, you know what, there's a bunch of terms here that everybody in this project needs to become familiar with. And so you tag those terms, and you do this all on the notes panel that I showed you earlier. You're making notes and you're making tags. You're tagging when there's disagreements. You're tagging when agreements are made, things that you just, important moments that you want people to know to place in the project. So when there's, these are the tags that I'm using. So I kind of just went through them. So then when you get to the second level, root cause analysis, I use the 7 road hazards of change management. And those 7 road hazards look like this. So when something goes wrong, I put them into one of these 7 categories. In other words, sometimes somebody orders a stop. You have no clue why, but somebody stopped working, and you find out, yeah, my manager said he doesn't want me working on this anymore. And you're thinking, wait a second, I thought we agreed this was part of the project plan. Rabbit holes. Sometimes somebody's doing something that you just wasn't on the agenda, and it seems to be like somebody working on something that you didn't realize what they interpreted was their task. Unexpected issue, probably the most common one. No matter how good a project is planned out, earthquakes happen, things get closed, people get sick, all kinds of stuff happens. You want to flag those issues and say, wait a second, the project plan is now going to be changed. Either we need to do something, or we need to build some type of buffer to enhance the plan. Detours. Sometimes once you start working, you realize, you know what, we didn't plan this perfectly. We probably need to do something extra to hit the objective that we were originally trying to hit with the original plan. So you add detour tasks, slow down. That's, I think every company in the world understands slow down. You make a plan, you think things are supposed to go one way, and you just get the impression certain resources are not working at the speed they're supposed to be. And that's not just people, but also machines and structures and frameworks. Lack of power. Original resources allocated to the project are not sufficient. So maybe you have a lack of expertise, maybe you have a lack of assets, machinery, whatever it is. You realize, you know what, the original structure we put in place does not support the objectives we're trying to achieve. And then finally, another root cause I like to use as an issue flagger is excessive confusion. If you see people arguing, well, something's not right, obviously there's a lot of confusion, something wasn't planned right, and this is a great way to just kick off the discussion to say we need to understand better. So as you're going through the life cycle of your project, you're using these tags to let the company know where things didn't go as were planned. So finally, when you get to that, once you get your root causes in there, you're now in a position to start brainstorming with your team, figure out what happened. So now this is the set of lessons learned tags that I'm currently using. But I invite anybody, especially those of you who are already Presto users and you're experimenting with this module already, I invite any of you to share with us where you've been successful in creating lessons learned tags. And of course, we'd be delighted to do some type of workshop in the future, maybe even a 2 or 3 hour workshop where we can do a show and tell with other clients. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's on the horizon somewhere. We just need to get some time to organize something like that. But I promise, once enough of you come back to us and say, hey, we want to share our lessons learned tags, our strategy, I'll be delighted to organize the workshop where we can really do a nice networking session, even if it takes a half day of our time. So the lessons learned I'm going after, and I've used a couple sources already, where lessons learned in budgeting, lessons learned in leadership, lessons learned in innovation, operations, information and technology systems, customer service, industry knowledge, strategic management, and so forth. So you can see these are the type of lessons learned that I have, up until now, I'm able to categorize every lesson learned I found into one of these categories. Is there a more streamlined group? Potentially, but I find this good so far, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's jump to the dashboard for a second so we don't lose track of Presto. Let's go all the way to the top again. So now, for those of you that are users, you've already noticed we've already reached out a few times with the new job aids, with the new showrooms that support the lessons learned modules. We have another big video web page coming out very soon that explains to you how to capture lessons learned from soup to nuts, from beginning to end. So at this point, let's take a look at all the projects out there, and let's open. Here's our lessons learned panel. And once again, everything you see here is customizable. You can go to your admin panel and you can create your own set of tags. Here's my observation tags: vocabulary, agreement, disagreement. And if I click on this, I get a description in there if I put it in there. Vocabulary. So these are my observation tags. These are my road hazard tags, which I've showed you already. Someone is ordered to stop, do not enter, expected slowdown. If I click on that, I should see some descriptions, but I don't. It's because I didn't put them in there. And finally, here are my lesson learned tag. So now what you can see, I'm looking at a dashboard and it's showing me, I'm going to refresh the dashboard, and I can see from an initiator point of view, there's 38 tags out there in these projects that are currently showing on the dashboard. And out of those 38, you can see Samuel made 22 of those 38 tags. There's me. Andrew made 11. There's, I forgot her name, Sonia. She made 3. So those are the people that initiated it, but you might also be interested in contributors, people that were tagged. Doesn't mean they made the tag, but they're in a tag. So now I look at this and I can see here, Anna's been tagged 5 times. So what I could actually do, I could actually say, where has she been tagged? And I'm just going to come here. I'm going to put her name. And I'm going to say, show me those 5 tags where Anna was the 5 notes where Anna was tagged. And if I open my notebook, this button here, you can see these are the different notes that come from the project. So you can see on the 29th of August, be proactive when reserving training facilities. Now here, we actually have a lesson learned tag. And you can see on the 29th of August, this was the name of the project, Reduce Defects on Circuit Board Assembly. So I'm going to click on that. Here's more details to the project. You can see there's Anna tagged, there's the note, the details to the note. And of course, if you really want to get your hands dirty, click on that and you're going straight into the project where the tag was made. So you see there she is, she was tagged in the act phase. If I open up the act phase, there's the tag that allowed us to get to this. So let's take a look at how this looks in reality. If you let's do a couple of simulations really quickly. Website development, right? So we're developing a website. We've planned it. Here's all the do tasks. Now, where you see that red, something bad happened, something that we didn't expect happened. So what happened in this, we had some confusion. We didn't know what was going on. And then we had to take a detour. So if you take a look here, there's a deviation. We added 2 months to the project due to the redesign and extended testing. So basically what happened was we were supposed to build a website, and all of a sudden we found out we weren't doing it correctly. So we had to add 2 months to the project. So now the lesson learned, you're going to see we're backtracking, but it's step number 2, is that when we were here, when we were planning in PDCA, invest in planning and maintain clear communication channels with clients throughout the project. So basically we were building a website and we found out halfway through it that the client hold on a second. I think someone needs to mute themselves again. Okay, thank you. So you can see we found out that during the planning phase, we should have had better. I tagged this as a customer service lesson learned, and I reverse engineered it here for the purpose of this demo. Lesson learned was client relationship management process needs to be structured to allow for a more open communication with the client. Website development process needs to be more proactive in the planning phase to allow for better information to flow to and from clients, from the client service team. So what's the lesson learned? It's up here, but it's also reverse engineered. Lack of communication between clients and the client service team will result in misinterpreted client requirements and excessive client confusion, which also equates to lost time in redesign and revision activities. Let's do a couple other ones really quickly, and then we'll do one in the system. Software upgrade. What happened here? Unexpected change, compatibility issues. So we're building software, and I know a lot about this topic over here, where you're building something, you find out later that it's not compatible with what you're trying to do. So what happens, there's a compatibility issue. So we had to take a detour. We had to add 2 steps, compatibility issue, resolution, revised testing. So then when we reflect on this, the lesson learned is that when we were in step 3, compatibility testing, we have an information technology system lesson learned. Prioritize thorough compatibility testing with existing systems before moving into the development phase. So failure to conduct a thorough compatibility phase will result in unexpected bottlenecks, which result in lost time. So finally, one more marketing campaign. Your marketing team has an unexpected change in strategy adjustment. So what happened here, you're in the middle of a marketing campaign and you realize we really need to rewrite all the content and reposition the content that we published. Why is that? So we're taking a detour. Strategy adjustment and content revisions took us into 2 additional months. So where's the lesson learned? Well, the lesson learned here is we should have done better market research. So lesson learned, conduct thorough market research before launching your campaign, or you might find out that your campaign's not hitting the target market that you're supposed to be going after. And that's exactly what you see here. So in the spirit of saving time now, let's take a look at this example we had here. So we have, we're reducing defects on Anna's assembly team. So as we go through here, we find some new vocabulary words while we're planning. So that's a nice value add. So let's go back to that project that we just booked. I hope we just booked it. So here we are, open today. So here's Anna's project. So you can see circuit board assembly order number 456. Now in this case here, all right, hold on a second. I want to redo this project using the PDCA dashboard. So I'm going to come here. There's Anna. And we're going to assign her circuit board assembly defect reduction initiative. So we're going to retrain the team to stop making defects on this process when they do it daily. This is an efficiency process. So it's putting it on the PDCA dashboard. So now you can see immediately, here we are in PDCA. There's Anna as responsible in the acknowledge phase. She's consulted in the plan phase. And she's on reducing defects. So here's our reduce defect reduction checklist. So this is best practice on how to reduce defects in manufacturing. So let's just imagine that we've done this, we've planned as well, and now we're officially in the do phase. So let's imagine some of these tasks are done. You can see green means everything's under control, on course for successful completion. So let's take a look at this. Well, let's imagine while we were planning, we found some new vocabulary terms. So here I'm in the plan phase, agree key activities. I'm going to go here and I'm going to say here on the notes panel, let's imagine we have a new circuit board assembly terminology that we want to share. So here's my observations. I'm going to tag that vocabulary and I'm going to say circuit board router. Let's imagine this is a new vocabulary term, and I'm going to put the description here and I'm going to save that. So we've saved that. We've tagged a new vocabulary term. What else happens in this project? We've agreed during the plan phase that this team here is going to do things. So sometimes it's useful when you agree the activity owners to tag the moment and say, let the company know a significant agreement was made. You may even want to call this a milestone, but I'm going to come back to the notes and I'm going to say here on this tag over here, there's my agreement tag. Now, by the way, a bit sloppy, but what I should have is descriptions in this drop down. We didn't put them in here, but you can put nice descriptions to help your company understand exactly what the tag's all about. So here, agreement to work with Evelina and Mark. So, and you might even tag them as well. So now they're going to show up on the contributor dashboard, as we saw earlier. I'm sorry, her name, is her name Evelina? No, it's not. Okay, I'll just tag some random people. There's Mark, and let's put Julie in there. I remember her name. So there's Julie. So now we're tagging that an agreement has been made with these two people. So tag them, and you're seeing Samuel's picture because I'm logged in as Samuel. We've logged in as him. So now what else is this project giving us? And now we're also going to say, great work. We've approved the project on the approval date. And, maybe it's such a big moment that we feel the need to actually tag that. So we're going to say, great approval. Let's go. And I'm going to give it a nice thumbs up. So now you can see we're creating a nice archive of notes. So you can see that number 3 there is giving us the history of what's going on in the project. So now what happens? Let's imagine we go to do some training, and the training room is completely unprepared. The screens don't work. The electricity is out, or whatnot. So at this point, we're going to say, you know what? We did all this work to get ready for this project, and on the day of the training, it got completely postponed. So conduct training. I'm going to come here and I'm going to say, I'm going to put a note. I'm going to say, in this time, we're talking about road hazard. So there's my road hazard. I'm going to say an issue, unexpected issue encountered. I'm going to say training room not equipped with LED TVs. So we found out that we didn't have the equipment we needed. So now we've officially captured a lesson learned. A road hazard. What else do we got? So now we've got through it. We fixed everything. But of course, the project gets delayed, and you would see that in your task list as you're changing the dates. We celebrate success, but now forget about doing that for the sake of time. But we are going to capture the lesson learned that whenever we do this type of training from a technical point of view, make sure that all the technical equipment is ready before you launch that. Now, to be honest with you, we could probably put this in the capture the lessons learned phase over here, or you could actually come straight to the plan and say, when we were planning, we were agreeing the key activities. I'm going to capture a lesson learned here. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to go to my lesson learned archive. There it is, information and technology systems. And I'm going to say better to prepare with IT team. In other words, engage IT or facilities team, engage facilities prior to training date. Of course, you can get much more detailed and put much more information, but for the sake of this demo. So anyway, what you can see now, we've got a nice, rich archive of lessons learned. So now someday, when the facilities team is looking at all your projects, and I'm going to look at all archived projects in this company. So now you can see this is everything that this company ever worked on. Not archived, excuse me, all projects. So we got all projects that are open as well as all projects that are closed. I'm going to say, tell me every lesson learned in this company that is related to facilities, mistakes we made with the facilities team and the facilities and IT setup. So here's my tag. So now I select that tag, and now you can see there's 3 lessons learned. There's out there, 3 tags out there. I open them up, and I can see there's a project on September 28, project on September 11, project on August 29. And this is the one from today. Of course, if I click on it, there's what we just put in there. There's a note. And of course, if we want to go straight to the project, click that and you're in there. So anyway, that's that for today. We've covered a lot of ground. I know 75 minutes seems like a lot, but we could have, I would have liked to go slow, and I would have liked to have more Q&A, but I'll stay on the line for anybody that's interested in asking questions now. I want to remind you that everything you saw today, you can buy for the next 3 days for